Hey everyone, Nick from Nick's Crossing here. Welcome back to the train room for an awesome steam engine review with another MTH electric train. This video, guys, will be talking about this beautiful piece right here, CNJ 113, the rarest steam engine in my collection, and this beautiful B7 is awesome to run. So here we go, everyone. All aboard. Alrighty guys, so CNJ 113, man, this is one of my favorite engines I've ever picked up at any train show or whatnot because of its history and backstory, and got some history with this engine. I've filmed this engine all over coal country in Pennsylvania between Minersville and Schuylkill Haven. Just always had a blast filming this with friends, and I blame my friend Jamie Macon for that. She has always found the best railfan spots to catch this locomotive. She knows the crews pretty well, and it's just always such a great time up there. And she's also volunteered firing this engine and shoveling coal, so always great going up there to see this engine run. Now guys, this locomotive will be running this weekend at the Minersville Borough Day, and that is May 18th. It's running shuttle runs back and forth to a colliery, and I can't wait to see that. It's going to be so much fun to film for you guys. And like I said, I've filmed this engine before in the past, so if you're interested, check those videos out in the description of this video. Subscribe and hit the bell so you do not miss the future Railfan event. But anyways, guys, CNJ 113. This is a mighty B7 switcher. Call it the Queen of Minersville because this engine rules the rails whenever it runs. It is just a lot of fun to see, and she is an old girl. I mean, this engine is over 100 years old. Last year was her 100th birthday, so 1923 to 2024, that is just impressive. Now guys, the engine is actually owned and operated by the CNJ Project 113, and that is a nonprofit organization. They're always looking for donations, so their website will be listed below as well. But they run the locomotive as much as they can, but Reading and Northern pilots the locomotive, so they provide their firemen, conductors, engineers, and also cars and car staff. So when 113 runs, they utilize Reading and Northern's trackage, mostly between Minersville and Schuylkill Haven. But it's always fun to go out there and check this beautiful engine out. Alright guys, so I've been on the hunt for one of these B7 or B6 switchers for a very long time. I was always on eBay looking up CNJ 060s. Could never find anything that was truly a 113 until I went to the spring show at York. And went up to the Orange Hall, was walking around, and I saw this engine up on the shelf. I couldn't believe it. It was like one of the, oh God, it was one of the Griswold moments. You see the light shining on it for the family Christmas tree. Well, there it was, CNJ 113. Couldn't believe my eyes and had to pick up this engine. Though she was a little pricey, I got a great deal from Grispowski's Trains. And thank you to Joe for the great deal on this beautiful engine. But guys, before that, I was looking at finding an 060, renumbering it, weathering it, doing all kinds of stuff. So this kind of saved me that trouble and hassle of buying one of those other 060s. Alrighty guys, so before we get into checking out this beautiful model, I wanted to go over some of the history and backstory of the CNJ 113 and how she escaped the scrappers' torch throughout the years. So guys, going all the way back to 1923, these were built by the Alco Schenectady Works for the CNJ. They produced 5 of these locomotives in total, number 111 through 115. Unfortunately, her sisters would be scrapped throughout the years. Now, 113 was specifically designed for coal traffic in yards, to build trains, transport fully loaded coal cars, and also pull fully loaded coal cars in the yard to get them ready for their larger steam counterparts. Now, 113 also was designed with something called a Wooten firebox, which explains why this engine is so large. The Wooten firebox style was basically to increase the surface area for the junk coal that they were using in the coal fields to burn off. And what that did was it was able to produce enough heat to raise the boiler pressure to the desired pressure, and it explains why this engine runs at 200 psi instead of running at a higher boiler pressure because of that firebox and most likely the type of fuel that they were using. To this day, I believe CNJ 113 uses bituminous coal, so bituminous coal produces more heat than the junk anthracite that they were using back in the day. CNJ 113 and her sisters would be used up until the dieselization era for the CNJ 1951 is what the research says here, and CNJ 113 had his second life at the Philadelphia and Reading Coal and Iron Company, also known as now the Reading Anthracite Company. It ran on their yards, basically shunting cars back and forth with the colliery, building trains to be loaded. Now, eventually this engine would sit out in the elements until the 1980s. So from 1960 to about 1980, the engine was then purchased in 1980 by, it says, the Red Clay Valley Incorporated in Wilmington, Delaware. Then it sat unrestored until 1986, was then purchased by a Mr. Robert E. Kimmel Sr., was later moved to Minersville, PA. Now, it said restoration began in 1999 and took more than $600,000 to get the engine running and countless hours of volunteer work. Now, guys, $600,000 with inflation now is probably pretty darn close to $1 million. Plus, you can never represent, human time. Our hours of service. It's basically priceless. So, I'm gonna say $1 million restoration easily. The engine still runs today in Minersville, PA. And how it kind of works, guys, is that the CNJ 113 Trust, they operate the locomotive, they fire it, they do the inspection, restoration work, any service that the engine needs, they're there to operate it. But while it's on excursions, it operates strictly by Reading and Northern staff. So they provide their firemen, their engineers, their conductors, the car staff, their cars, the power car, and also they run at the end. They usually run a diesel locomotive just in case, and also they run it there to help out the engine going up one of the hills. But they also use the diesel to drag the consist out to like right around Schuylkill Haven, but the steam engine does the whole way back. Now, I've heard a lot of you guys say in comments and such with CNJ 113 that diesel has to be working the whole time. No, I'll be honest with you guys. I did a cab ride in one of their GP30 rebuilds about a year ago with my friend Jamie. And yes, the diesel tows the entire consist out to Schuylkill Haven, but the whole way back, their engineer put the locomotive in neutral, took off the brakes, and said, all right. He put his arms across his chest and sat there. I'm like, is the steam engine pulling us? He's like, yes. Oh, yeah, definitely. He's like, I only help out if it needs braking, going downhill, or when we get up to this one last hill, sometimes she needs a little bit of a boost. But honestly, guys, that is just so cool that 113 can pull the entire consist back from Schuylkill Haven to Minersville, usually in one piece. Alrighty, guys, so here is our CNJ 113 model by MTH Electric Trains. This is a Rail King model, but it is an Imperial Rail King. And what Imperial means is that it has all of the details and separately applied parts as a full-scale Premier would have. And this is pretty common with these 060s. MTH just cranked them out as fast as they could, cheaply as they could, but they are really nicely well-built models. So this locomotive here on the front, you can see it's pretty much the same design as every other B6 or B7 ever made by MTH. So the only thing that's really special about this engine, it's listed as a 113, it's numbered, and has the beautiful CNJ logo, which we'll see on the tender. But anyways, guys, this engine also, I hate to be so picky, this is more of the body style of a PRR B6 switcher compared to CNJ's Alco design. Now, what I mean by that, guys, is that up front, the headlight on CNJ 113 is actually right on the smoke box door, right about here, compared to up above near the stack. That is one thing I picked up, and also the front of this locomotive's pilot is very PRR-esque. CNJ's actually has the steps that come down. They're actually built into the catwalk near the smoke box, so you can actually get, I think, 3 steps going down, which will put the pilot a little bit more forward-facing compared to this design right here. All right, guys, so here's the side of CNJ 113. So I noticed a couple of other flaws, so let's go over those really quick. So up here it says CNJ, but back here it says B6 in the corner of the cab. It's actually a B7 switcher. This is totally a PRR casting of this 113, which I'm totally fine with. I could care less. It's still a beautiful running engine. Looks great. It's just kind of a cool conversation piece. Also, the builder's plate, I zoomed into it. It says American Locomotive Works Cook Facility, 1918. So most likely this is a PRR early B6 design switcher. But anyways, guys, it's a beautiful model. I love all the riveting they put in here. The headlight actually lights up on the sides, so you can see the number boards through the headlight. We have a beautifully applied bell, whistle, and steam blow-off valves. The bell actually kind of swivels, which I thought was really cool. Also, we have the air pump on the side, condenser coil separately applied. The running gear is just beautiful as it runs. I love that design. Also, the metal they used is like this shiny grayish black metal. Looks really cool. And the only other brand or manufacturer that I've known to do that was K-Line. So I thought that was really, really cool. Love the ash pan right here. Looks really nice. And also all the rivets they put on the firebox there makes this engine look fantastic. On the rear, we also have a fireman on this side. The other side, we have an engineer. So I'm actually going to flip this engine around on the track. All right, guys, so here is the other side of the locomotive. We have our little generator right here. We also have tons of detail in here. There's an Alco reverser, which I thought was really cool. Same thing with the metal on this side. Just looks fantastic. All right, guys, so here is a look inside of the cab of 113. Now, I do like how they painted these petcock valves here, but they look really cool. You can see our fireman engineer up on their chairs. They are glued in there, so they're not going to go anywhere. But guys, we do have firebox glow in this locomotive, which is really, really cool, especially for a Rail King locomotive. It flickers. It also sort of dances around as the engine puffs. Thought that was really cool. Now also, guys, the real CNJ 113 has that special clamshell firebox door. Compared to this one's more of a flat style, opens from the side. So it's just one little nitpick right there. But other than that, guys, this is a beautiful engine. Love running it. We're going to check out the tender next. All right, guys, so here is 113's tender, and I absolutely love this tender. I love the rivets they put in here. The logo is very crisp. Looks great. On the back, we have a directional light. Also lights up on the sides for the number boards. On the rear, we have more directional lighting. We have these lanterns that light up in the back red. We have an electric coupler on the rear of the tender. Also, I forgot to mention there's another electric coupler on the front of our locomotive, so you can do actual yard switching with this. One of the coolest features, guys, probably the coolest feature of this locomotive is probably the tender chains. And what I mean by that is that the tender has these chains that hook up to the trucks right here. I know it's kind of a pain in the butt if these get tangled up, but just have to be very careful. I thought it was just such a cool detail on this model. And usually they only do that on the Imperial Rail King designs. Also, guys, up top, we have a water hatch door and a realistic coal load. This is an actual anthracite coal load that they grinded up and threw on top of this tender. All right, guys, let's fire it up. We're going to do the extended startup using the DCS remote.
Let's get our team. We've got a schedule to keep. Drop those dead coals. Grab a shovel and spread that coal. Check the level in the tender, will ya? Water level's down 6 feet. Swing that throat over. Okay. Very good. Great. Don't put those sides garage, will ya? Looks good. Well, it's a 300. Plenty of speed. I got him blowing down now. See if we're clear. Clear? Clear.
Alright guys, so our engine is fired up and ready to roll, and the tether was actually not plugged in all the way, so that's one thing about these tethers that I hate. But our engine is now starting to smoke, we have directional lighting, and also forgot to mention the cab is fully lighted as well. Looks fantastic going down the tracks. So here is our whistle of choice for the engine. This is what was stock in the box. Get some more volume there. And it's just a banshee whistle, but we do get the different types of whistles. We get forward sound. We also have reverse and crossing.
Get some coal in there.
So guys, it's a very basic banshee style whistle, and it sounds pretty cool, but I'm actually willing to upgrade this whistle to something more CNJ. Possibly a CNJ 3-chime if I can find one. I'm sure the older Camelbacks have those sound sets, but this is a Proto-Sound 3-volt board, so there are a lot of sounds available for this engine. There's engine sound 1. Go down the list here, we have engine sound 2.
So what are we doing today? I've got the orders right here. Let's see.
Alrighty.
A string of rebuilds at the shop needs to be set out on 12. We've got reefers at the icing platform. They go to track 4. We just need to move all those bad order cars to the rip track. Let's get to work.
And that's like the crossing sound right there. And let's see, engine sound 8. Coupler close sound, and 9. Coupler open. And that's the coupler slack sound. So as you guys can hear, that this engine has a switcher sound set in it, which I thought was really cool. Compared to a passenger sound set, this engine's ready to get to work on a switch list. So guys, let's run this beautiful engine around the layout. I'll also switch her out for some passenger cars later on. So here we go everyone, all aboard. Alrighty, everyone, that's going to do it for this review of my CNJ 113 built by MTH Electric Trains. Yes, it is the rarest steam engine in my collection, and hope to cherish this one for a very, very long time. And guys, that little engine was doing so much work. It's actually a little warm right now, so I'm going to let her calm down before I run it again. But guys, such a cool engine to run, and it was a lot of fun to see puff and chuff across the layout. But anyways, guys, if you're new to the channel and you haven't seen any of these videos yet, always consider subscribing, leave a like if you enjoyed the video. Also love reading those comments, guys. Can't wait to put up more railfan footage of 113. Till next time, everyone, happy railroading. We'll see you next time. See you guys.